Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 24 Summer Career Mode here with Crystal Palace. We're returning today off the previous episode which saw us begin Season 3 with the Eagles, where we lost Eberechi Eze to Manchester City and Dean Henderson to Arsenal. But we have brought in Matheus Cunha as our replacement for Eze, and I'm going to kick off today's episode by bringing in a new number one before our opening Premier League game of the season, which will see us host Wolves at Selhurst Park. And the man that I'm going to be going for, well, we discussed it in the previous episode. Obviously, Dean Henderson, back-to-back Golden Glove winner with the Eagles, scouted by Mikel Arteta to be his new number one, which opens the door for Aaron Ramsdale's departure. So I think I'm going to do a little switchy with Mikel Arteta and Arsenal and say, if you're taking Dean Henderson for us, we are going to take Aaron Ramsdale from you. So I think we can get him probably a little bit closer to that market valuation. I am trying to make a conscious effort to sign different players, and I did use Aaron Ramsdale when I was at Chelsea in the Glory Hunter save last year on FIFA 23. But if my memory serves me correct, I don't think I actually signed him. I think we inherited him there, but I'm going to go after him again here because it sort of makes sense to bring Ramsdale in with Dean Henderson going the other way, because he won't want to sit on the bench at Arsenal, just like in real life. So with Dean Henderson heading off to Arsenal, it was 37.5 for Dean, and we brought in Aaron for 31. So we've got our new number one. He's actually 2 ratings higher than Dean Henderson, and I think he's going to continue to grow quite nicely throughout the season. So I think it's a good bit of business. We make a little bit of money as well, and we couldn't really stand in the player's way as moving to a massive club like Arsenal and staying in London. But Aaron Ramsdale coming the other way for 31 million, I think that's a really good piece of business from the Eagles. So just looking at the team here, of course, Aaron Ramsdale will step in and take the number one spot. But I'm really happy with the team. Obviously, Cheick Doucouré's still down injured, but he will step back in for Lerma when he does return in, I think it's around November. I think he's got 3 months left on that injury, but really happy with the team. Ramsdale in to replace Henderson and Matheus Cunha in to replace Eberechi Eze. So I think we'll jump into our first game of the season. Matheus Cunha will be reunited with his old side Wolves, same as Tomori, who we also signed in the previous episode on match day 1 of the Premier League season. So looking to start with a victory. We absolutely flew out of the blocks last season, but Manchester City were eventually crowned champions by some way. I want to stick closer to them this year and see if we can stay in a title race. Looking for 3 points on match day 1. Come on, you Eagles. So Matheus Cunha, of course, in the starting lineup for this one. Nori's on the bench with Tyrick Mitchell keeping his place at left wing back. But I'm pretty happy with the business we've done in the summer. Yes, we lost Eze and Dean Henderson, but I think our replacements have been really good. As we've seen throughout the course of this save, generally our replacements that we've signed have been very good. Matthias Soulé when we lost Michael Elise. Of course, we lost Joachim Anderson and we brought in William Pacho. So I'm not too worried about losing those key players. Eze had a fantastic campaign for us last year, but when Man City come calling, you cannot stand in a player's way. So not too worried about it, and I think we will be fine this campaign. Space for Cunha. Steps inside. Gomez. Still Matheus Cunha against his former team. Slides it through to Mateta. And it's a goal on match day 1 already for Jean-Philippe Mateta. Still no interest in him in this summer window. 20 goals in season 1 in the Premier League, 21 last year, and he's got his first on match day 1 of the new Premier League season. He is an absolute bagsman, and he's doing it again for Crystal Palace. Oh, that's a great turn, and the shot comes in, and Ramsdale has to make the save on his debut. First time he's been tested, so I'd love to get him a debut clean sheet as Guehi flicks that away and Crystal Palace will clear. That will do it for the first half. We're halfway to 3 points on match day 1 of the new Premier League season. Here's Lerma into Wharton. Carrying that little knock. No foul, says the referee. Mateus Cunha from the edge looked to bend one. And it's well kept out. Corner for Matthias Sule to swing in. Looking for Mateta. There is our second. Jean-Philippe Mateta at the double. That will do it for Crystal Palace. It's going to be a win on match day 1 of the new Premier League season. Jean-Philippe Mateta with a brace. And Crystal Palace are picking up right where they left off at the end of last season. So thankfully we see the injury to Adam Wharton is just an 8-day bruise. So he'll be out for the next week or so, which means he will miss our second game here against Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They lost on match day 1 in a North London derby to Arsenal by 2-0. So they're looking to get their first points on the board whilst we're looking to continue our winning start. Come on, you Eagles. So I'd love to make it 2 wins from 2 in the league here, but going to be a real tough game this away in North London. We did win here towards the end of last campaign. I think it was 3-1 in the end, so we have got history on this ground. But as I say, going to be a really tough test. That's a nice ball by Jorginho, who's in today for the injured Adam Wharton. Mateus Cunha looking for his first in a Palace shirt, and he's got it as well. An assist for Jorginho on his full debut, and a goal for Mateus Cunha. 2 of the new boys linking up, and Crystal Palace lead away in North London. Space out wide here for Manus Solomon to run into with Kadioglu high up the pitch. And Solomon comes infield, beats William Pacho. And the strike comes in, and Ramsdale does well to get behind it and beat it away. Looking for his second clean sheet in as many games. Well, last few minutes to hold on here. Estupinian swings the ball in. Oh, it's brilliant. It's a fantastic goal from Dejan Kulusevski, but it's all about the cross from Estupinian. And I say it all the time, leading by just 1, you're always vulnerable. What a brilliant ball. Ballard can't get there. Pacho loses his man. And it looks as if Spurs have found a late equaliser here in North London. Well, we can't be too disappointed with the result. It's a decent draw on the road against a fellow sort of European side, and as Brentford put in a bid for Morgan Whittaker, yeah, I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed that we threw it away late on, and I'm really happy with the squad that we've got. But just looking at the team, obviously we've still got 90 million to spend. We've got Doucouré to come back into that midfield for Jefferson Lerma. I'm thinking about the team. Maybe we just go and splash out big on a centre-back to come into the heart of that back 3 with Pacho on the left, Guehi on the right. I love Dan Ballard and he did really well last year, but we did probably concede a few more goals than I would have liked. So, I mean, potentially we bring in a big centre-back. And the man that I've just been scouting, well, there he is there, Fikayo Tomori. I've got a few names on the shortlist, but he is the main man. 87 overall. He's going to cost us pretty much all of our budget, but if we've got the money there, I do think it kind of makes sense to bring someone in. He's played in England before, of course, with Chelsea, and spent some time out on loan before his move to AC Milan. They were runners-up in the Serie A last year, so they will be playing Champions League football. But I think a return to England could potentially be on the cards for Fikayo Tomori. So we obviously brought in Lacroix in the summer, but I do think with the money we've got left, there's not really any other position I can see that we could make a major improvement. So I think Fikayo Tomori is the man. They want 83 million. Which would pretty much break the bank, but I'm gonna go back in at 75. There we go. We're sort of getting somewhere. We'll meet in the middle, 77.5 million, and I think that is enough for AC Milan to say yes. Tomori looking as if he's on his way back to England. So Fikayo Tomori is in from AC Milan on a 4-year contract on 75 grand a week, and I think that is a really good bit of business for Crystal Palace. I did say, looking at the team, that central sort of centre-back position, as much as I love Dan Ballard, it's the one area on the pitch, at least in terms of overall, where we could definitely improve. So Fikayo Tomori is in, and I'm hoping that will have a real impact on our back three and will make us a lot stronger in games like the previous one where we just couldn't quite see it out right at the death. So Fikayo Tomori, welcome to Selhurst Park. And Tomori will make his debut here in our next game and our final game of August as we host Everton at Selhurst Park just before transfer deadline day. Looking for a clean sheet on the new man's debut and a return to winning ways after the late equaliser we conceded at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Come on, you Eagles. So, second home game of the season here, and hoping to return to winning ways, of course. And Fikayo Tomori will make his debut in the backline alongside Pacho and Mark Guehi, and I do think it will hopefully make us a lot stronger as Kadioglu, brilliant run, Cunha slides it into the bottom corner, 2-in-2 for the new man, and Lerma gets it out to Sule, waiting for the run of Kadioglu. Ooh, terrible tackle that by Andre Gomez, straight through the back of Sule, and I hope he's going to be alright because that was a nasty one. And it's a red for Andre Gomez as well. Well, I said it was a nasty one. Matthias Sule is up, but it doesn't really mean too much in FIFA. Really poor tackle, straight down his Achilles, and he does seem to be alright, but Everton, a goal down and now down to 10 men. And Mateus Cunha's over the free kick, already got one goal today. Looking for another as Cunha, it's not quite got the height on it, but it nearly caught the keeper out. He will come across to take the corner, and it's looking for Pacho. Oh, good header, and kept out again by the Everton number one. Sule from the other side, looking for Mateta. There is our second. Long way back for Everton now. Crystal Palace double up and have the man advantage and look set for a return to winning ways in the Premier League. Sule with the corner for Palace, looking for Mateta, and it's tipped over the top by Musso. Behind for another corner, Sule from the same side, looking for Mateta, and it's 3. Everton all at sea and Crystal Palace just having a great time. Chance to score some goals today, and that's exactly what we're doing as Mateta makes it 3. Keane gets away from his man. Oh, brilliant ball through. Pafundi gets one back for Everton. That's so disappointing. Should have been another clean sheet today for Aaron Ramsdale and the boys at the back. Tomori on his debut, and against 10 men, that's really poor to concede. Late corner for the Eagles, looking to add a fourth. It's into Edouard, and we do have a fourth. Odds on Edouard with his first of the season. Still here, we've got an abundance of strikers in the squad, but odds on Edouard is still here and still scoring. That is going to do it for Crystal Palace. A return to winning ways in the Premier League with a convincing win against the Toffees. So into transfer deadline day here, I really don't think we're going to make any moves. We've not got much money left in the budget, and I want to give a few contracts out once we're through the end of the summer transfer window. So I think we're just going to skip through the 10 hours pretty quickly. Even if we get any bids, I don't really want to let anyone go. Yeah, a bid here from Aston Villa for Chris Richards. I wouldn't be against letting him go because we've got a lot of defenders at the club, but I really like Richards. He can play on either side of the back three, so I'm just going to keep him here as well. William Saliba heading to Liverpool for 115 million. Spurs want Kadioglu, but they've just taken Daniel Munoz from us last January, so Kadioglu is staying here. Wow, well, with just 2 hours left on the clock in deadline day, big bid from Manchester City for Adam Wharton, and I wouldn't stand in his way, but with just 2 hours left, there's no way that deal is going to go through on time. So Adam Wharton is going to stay here for now. Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, if you come back in January and you offer the big bucks, then I'm not going to stand in the player's way. But that will do it for transfer deadline day. We see a couple of bids coming through here, and a quick look at the academy. But we've got loads of players in here, but we've already got like practically a full squad, so they'd have to be pretty impressive if they are to get a pro deal. The goalkeeper Liam Boyle is still 15, so I can't promote him. He's definitely the best product in the academy. So now that we're through the summer transfer window, it's time to crack on with the beginning of the season. And it's also time for the Champions League group stage draw, where Crystal Palace are playing in the competition for the first time, have been drawn against... On the first page, where are we? There we are, all big group. That Barcelona, VfL Wolfsburg and Slavia Prague as well. Really looking forward to that. Travelling to the Nou Camp. Lacroix against his former team Wolfsburg, and also Slavia Prague of the Czech Republic as well. Really looking forward to that group, but it's one I think we can get through. So with our scouts staying at home in South London this season due to the backlog, we've got no scouting updates for September. So jumping straight into our first game outside of the transfer window. It's a tough one. Liverpool away at Anfield, on a game that actually falls on what will be my birthday next year, September 6th, 2025. So hoping we're going to get a nice birthday treat and look to keep the unbeaten start to the season going. Come on, you Eagles. So underway here at Anfield, and I discussed it briefly in, I think it was the season opener, about how so far in the save we've done really well to take Palace into Europe, and then last year into the Champions League, and this year we'd like to go one further and see if we can maybe challenge City for the Premier League trophy. I think they've won it both seasons so far in the save, which would make it, 6 times in a row now if you count the real life seasons as well. So ridiculous run from Man City. I'd love to be the team to break that up. We've done okay to start the season off. We're still unbeaten. We had that late equaliser against Tottenham, but at the moment, Man City and Arsenal, that's a good save by Alisson. Man City and Arsenal are 3 wins from 3, and that just goes to show how impressive you have to be to stick with these guys. We've got Liverpool here at Anfield, followed by Arsenal, I think, at home at Selhurst Park. So 2 really big games coming today. Mitchell takes the ball nicely in his stride to get away from Sergi Roberto. Now Wharton and Lerma through the gap. Mateta, big save by Alisson. Just before the break, Crystal Palace so close to taking the lead, and the Brazilian with a huge stop. Corners into Pacho, and he's not getting anywhere near that. William Pacho with another for Crystal Palace. He's got a knack for scoring in the big games. Scored against Tottenham last year at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and now scores here at Anfield just before the break to give Crystal Palace the lead. Cunha back to Wharton. Oh, and Cunha nicks it back off Van Dijk. Brilliant by Mateus Cunha across the box, and Saliba right underneath his own crossbar clears. But Crystal Palace just a few moments away. Jorginho will take the corner, looking for the run at the near post. And Eddie Nketiah, with his first touch off the bench, seals it for Crystal Palace. We've got so much firepower this season with 4 really good strikers, and we are going to have to rotate. And I trust Eddie Nketiah. We brought him in as I do trust him. He beats Van Dijk in the air, and that will do it for Crystal Palace. Back-to-back wins against the 2 Merseyside clubs, Everton and now Liverpool away at Anfield, and we remain unbeaten in our first 4 in the Premier League. Well, another huge game to come here after the international break as we host Arsenal at Selhurst Park. Both they and Man City dropped their first points of the season, drawing on match day 3. So all three of us are deadlocked on 10 points at the top, whilst West Ham are the only team to have a 100% record with 4 wins from 4. We're looking for another big victory here against one of our title rivals. Come on, you Eagles. Gabriel Jesus steps away from Wharton and Lerma like they're not even there. Oh, Jesus, that's brilliant. And the shot is straight at Aaron Ramsdale. Incredibly lucky there, because not for the first time in his career, Gabriel Jesus did all the hard work and then couldn't find the finish at the end of the move. And now Palace coming the other way. Wharton spreads it out to Mitchell. And now Cunha. Sule finds Mateta. And Dean doesn't get there, and Alphonso Davies will clear as Mateta clips the woodwork. Nearly beat Dean at his near post on his return to Selhurst Park, but we go into the break, still deadlocked at 0-0. Big chances at both ends for both number 9s. Wharton nicks it back, and Pacho finds Cunha. Space for the former Wolves man to run into. Cunha steps inside, still Mateus Cunha went for the near post. Tried to catch Dean Henderson out, and our former number 1 did well. Sule will swing the corner in. Is looking for Mateta. Arsenal did well to block that as Kadioglu's strike is blocked, and Ødegaard will get it clear. I do think there'll be a goal somewhere, but still deadlocked at 0-0 as we approach the final third of the game. Corner for the Gunners. Just under 20 minutes left to play. Rice goes short to Ødegaard. Oh, couldn't win it back with Milan, but that's a poor touch. And Nketiah does well. Now Freuler releases Milan down the left. Zaha inside in support. Zaha. Can he get away from Gabriel? He can. Still Zaha. Round the corner. Nketiah. It's brilliant. Nketiah! 2-2 for Eddie the Eagle. And Nketiah against his former club does it for Crystal Palace once again. Off the bench against Liverpool to score the dagger. And now off the bench to potentially score the winner against his former team. Great win. Zaha round the corner to Milan. Steps away from Norton Cuffy. Now Freuler offloads to Zaha. And Lerma through the gap. Eddie, it's 2. That will seal it. This time he shows the respect. Got a little bit carried away in his celebration first time around. But Eddie Nketiah off the bench with his 3rd in 2. Lovely ball slipped through by Lerma, and the finish is superb. Mateta struggling to find goals in the last couple, but Eddie Nketiah off the bench, scoring 3 really important goals for Crystal Palace. Freuler gets away. Surely not a chance for Eddie's hat-trick, is it? Eddie Nketiah. Oh, it is a hat-trick. What a substitute appearance from Eddie Nketiah. The Eagles are flying. What a performance and what a victory that will see us inflict Arsenal's first defeat of the season. Eddie Nketiah off the bench with a hat-trick in the space of less than 15 minutes. What a performance and what a win for Crystal Palace. Right then, time for our first game in the Champions League and our first group stage match. We've been drawn against Slavia Prague away from home. So a great opportunity to get 3 points on the board in our first ever Champions League game. Really looking forward to this. Quite a few changes to the team with this coming in midweek after that big win, but still looking to pick up our first win in the competition. Come on, you Eagles. And Slavia Prague have got some players that can hurt us, and they've got players that have played at the top level as well. So this is going to be by no means an easy game here, but if we want to make it through the group, these are the games that we have to be winning. As Ballard does well, looks to release Wilfried Zaha. Takes the ball nicely in his stride. Edouard, who did so well in the Europa League last year, can he make the step up to the Champions League? As Zaha comes inside and the shot is pretty comfortable as it's straight at the keeper. Early chance for Zaha. Kamada swings the corner in. It's not going to reach Edouard. Jorginho gets it down and finds Ballard. And now Freuler to hit one. That's a good ball into the penalty area. And it's a nice turn. And Ballard does really well to get a little touch on the ball. And Slavia Prague starting to carve us open and get a few chances. Milan down the line to Zaha. Brilliant first touch. And Zaha needs a teammate across the box for Daichi. First goal of the season for Kamada. He did better for us last year playing deeper, but I have played him in that slightly more advanced role. And Daichi Kamada, with his first of the campaign, only got 3 last year. Looking for more from him this season, and he's off the mark already in Europe. Now Jorginho, and there's so much space for Zaha in behind. It's a brilliant ball, and Wilfried Zaha puts it wide. What a chance to make it too. Second big opportunity he's missed today. Yeah, he releases Freuler, and again, look at that space over the top of the defence for Zaha to run into. They're really not tracking him, and this time Zaha comes inside. Surely he's got the finish. Yes, he does. Third time of asking. Wilfried Zaha finally gets his goal. There's just so much space in behind. Ball forward. Ballard has to be careful, and he's not. And it's a penalty right at the end of the half for Slavia Prague. I'll be honest, I didn't actually make a challenge there. I didn't press any button. Dan Ballard, does he get a little nick on the ball? I just want to have a look at that because I'm not sure. I didn't press like stand tackle. I was just trying to stand him up. Does he get a little nick on the ball? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Oh, well, it looks like he gets there first, does he not? There. Hang on. Does he get any contact on it? Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe the Slavia Prague man gets there first. It's very, very close. And there is definitely contact when that leg comes out. So it probably is the right decision. But I didn't actually try and make the tackle. And Linger scores past Aaron Ramsdale and halves the deficit. Game back on in the Czech Republic. And Slavia not sitting down and rolling over. Yeah, and that is the difference between the Europa League, the Conference League, and the Champions League. This is Europe's elite, and it doesn't matter who you are playing. There's always a chance that they will cause you an issue. And Slavia Prague, the lowest ranked team in the group, but so far proving on match day 1 that they are not just going to be the whipping boys of this group. Back in the game here. And if we throw away a 2-goal lead, I'm going to be really, really disappointed. That's lovely work, and the ball through, and Ramsdale's beaten. And it is 2 apiece. Crystal Palace have fallen apart in their first ever game in the Champions League. And Slavia Prague, from 2 goals down, find themselves back level at 2 apiece. Milan finds Nketiah, and Raksaki gets it back onto his left. And Freuler on the edge on the weaker left peg. Deflected and over the top for a corner. Daichi will swing that in. Looking for Dan Ballard. Oh, he nearly made up for the penalty at the end of the first half. Well, there is the whistle on match day 1. And it's a disappointing result. We do avoid defeat in our first game in the competition. But from 2 goals up, we really should have seen that out with a victory. The penalty right at the end of the first half, and then Slavia Prague fought back early on in the second. Remained deadlocked at 2 apiece in the second half, and we couldn't find a late winner despite pushing. Can't complain with a point on match day 1, but out of the teams in the group, Slavia Prague are the weakest, so we would have loved to have 3 points to kick off the campaign. Alright then guys, that seems like a good place to end things. A pretty good start for Crystal Palace, unbeaten in all competitions. Second in the league behind West Ham, who are the only team to win 5 from 5. Arsenal and Man City both now have 1 loss on the board. But we'll be back in the next episode to play through part 1 of Sloggy Season, which will see our first round in the Carabao Cup, where we've been drawn away at the Riverside to take on Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough side. We'll also have more big games in the Premier League, and we'll conclude the first half of the Champions League group stage. I'll catch you for it in the next episode very soon, guys, and peace.